I'm not really going to talk about Clutchy today. I appreciate many of you know what it is already. We're gaming an NFT marketplace on Sui, exclusively on Sui. But what I want to talk about today is innovation, NFTs, and how important I think that is that we build, I guess, a unique ecosystem for Sui. So, starting through, I think I want to touch upon what I think makes a thriving ecosystem. I want to keep it super high level, very simple. I think you need to bring new things to the table. And you need to make sure that everybody knows about them and understands them, right? People need to know why they're coming, and they need to know why they're staying. You see lots of ecosystems, NFT ecosystems, gaming ecosystems don't really take off. People come in because maybe they're bullish on the L1 token. They stick around for a week, they realize there's not much new, and then they head off, right? Ethereum did a good job, Solana did a good job. Ethereum because they solved problems, right? They brought something new to the table, that's where NFTs came from. Lots of innovation happened there. Lots of new experiences for people for the first time. Solana solved problems because at one stage Ethereum was just unusable. The barrier to entry was just too high for people. So it was cheap, it was easy to launch a collection, it was easy to buy collections, and that really kicked off an ecosystem. Most of the ecosystems since then have really struggled, and we were really excited about building on Sui because we saw problems being solved, and we saw opportunities to build new experiences for users. So, moving on, why do we think Sui is a great place? Firstly, we think there's a really low barrier to entry for people to bring new, dynamic NFT experiences. If you're a gamer, it's super interesting as a game dev. If you're building a collectibles collection, super interesting yet again. Same could be said if you're building a consumer brand. You want people to be able to interact with their NFTs, use dynamic NFTs. It's unparalleled with Sui. I think we saw most recently in Nadia's presentation, you see the amount of lines of code required to write interesting types of programs in Sui, with Sui Move. We think that that's a really, really significant advantage to this ecosystem. We also like the idea that there's a real focus of quality around the builders in the early stages of the ecosystem. Mr. Labs are handpicking people that they want to work closely with, people that share the vision that people will come here because they want to innovate and they want to build new experiences. And we really see a high collective interest in the chain. So we became very bullish. And moving into my next piece on how we make Sui stand out. Essentially, as I mentioned earlier, I touched upon, you need a reason for people to come, and then you need a reason for them to come back. I think with the hype that there is for Sui at the moment, people are going to be coming in regardless. The first 2 weeks are going to be absolutely crazy. But why are they going to stay? They're going to stay because we're solving problems for them. We're bringing new experiences, not new users, to them. So, in terms of narrative building, right, I think this is a really key, important piece for us. If we want a thriving NFT ecosystem, we need to really focus on the points of difference, right? You come to Sui because you can do things that you can't do elsewhere. You come to Sui as a user because you can experience things and you see things that you don't see elsewhere. We think that's super important, and we think it's also very important that people understand, okay, if we're going to be having these new experiences, we need to make them easy to understand. We need to be shining the spotlight on the innovators, and we need to be breaking those things down into digestible chunks for people to understand. So, one analogy I like to use is when you look at Sui and you look at NFTs and the way that Sui Move as a language works, it's kind of like Lego blocks, right? You have your overall, overarching NFT, and then through both the dynamic fields, you have pieces that you can take in, take out. That's a digestible analogy for the everyday person. So I think we've got more work to do on that, and we as a marketplace think that we actually have a very significant role to play in that. We don't just leave it to the L1, we don't just leave it to the Sui Foundation. I think we have a big role to play ourselves. And I think, shining the spotlight on those that are doing things differently after explaining these key differences, I think is super, super important too. So one new experience that I thought I could shine the spotlight on today would be this beautiful NFT from Studio Horizon. One thing that they're doing that I think is super interesting that we will be spotlighting over the coming weeks is you start with your NFT, right? It's blank, it looks very pretty. As a user, as you engage with their product, you engage with their community, you earn points. Those points can be used to level up your NFT, to change the way it looks, to customize it. We think that that's a super interesting experience, very, very simple concept, very, very appropriate for consumer brands. And we love to see these types of things, and we want to see more of it. dynamic NFTs on Sui make this super easy. Like technically speaking, yeah, you can do this on Ethereum, yeah, you can do this on Solana, but the barrier to entry is just so high for developers that most just don't do these types of things. So we think that's very important. Another example, again, somebody else in the audience, we've got the Rage team here, and Cradle Wallet, the gaming wallet. So they built a game using dynamic NFTs. Basically everything you see in this game is an NFT. The village, the pieces within inside, again, utilizing Sui's dynamic field objects. We think that's super interesting as well. And we want to see more game developers experimenting, trying to bring as many parts and components of their game on chain as possible, because that's when people start coming up with ideas that just weren't discovered before. The final piece here, and I don't know if any of you can guess who this person is, or it's supposed to be, but it might be somebody from Mr. Labs. It's another NFT collection which we'll be launching on Clutchy. We really like these guys. They're building very cool art. I think it's going to appeal to a wide range of people. But what's cool about these guys is, I don't know the switchboard teams here. Yeah, of course. These guys are going to plug into switchboard oracles, plug into like the weather and real life events. And basically, your NFT collection changes as things in the world change. And we think that that's a super cool project. Very cool idea. They're really on point with their branding, with their coloring. So these are the types of things that we want to really focus on, double down on. Games, collections, consumer brands that are looking to shake things up, do things differently, because these are the types of things that we think are going to keep the people in the ecosystem. So I'm just going to stop there. That was really high level. I just wanted to touch upon a few things that I think are really important. A small alpha drop, that last collection, if you like to look at it, if you go to this site, you may be able to get whitelisted. And I think I'll stop for questions, if anybody has any. Akash is not here, so we're ready to do the mic, right? If there's no questions, I can just share. My job's done for the day. Oh, I'm not sure it's good, yeah. Maybe I need to incentivize questions. Anybody want a Clutchy compound t-shirt? Yeah, I see, yeah, you've got to ask a question.
Okay. How would you say,
Oh, we have questions already? Wow. Oh. Sorry, I was in the back. I had to, well, no, my agent was here, so we were going through some paperwork.
on the spotlight? Oh, wow, loved it. How would you say that you guys are not going to fall into traditional marketplace traps?
Could you elaborate on what you mean by traditional marketplace traps?
It's like OpenSea has a few issues in terms of how do I put it? Controlling, the ownership of the NFTs, and same thing on Solana, and how those projects we solve these things.
So we're talking about like ownership of IP for users, that type of thing, rug pulls.
I really was not prepared to ask a question, so I just
Okay, absolutely. No, so yeah, there are various things, right? So like, I think IP is a very important thing when we work with collections. We like to encourage collections, of course, to opt for a more decentralized approach. I think as well, like another thing that's very important for marketplaces to have launch pads to ensure that you're not launching drugs. So we have a pretty robust KYC process for projects that we work with. But more than that, and actually something I think more important than the KYC process is us getting to know projects, being deep domain experts, getting to understand, okay, what are these founders trying to achieve? Have they got robust plans? And then really working super closely with them. So we kind of know how much progress people are making, right? So that I think is something that's really important as well. Right. Anybody else?
Right. Another question?
You got the t-shirts though.
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Woo!
I was going to ask, how is Clutchy thinking about mobile experiences? Are there things in the pipeline that we should be expecting?
Yeah, mobile experiences are very interesting for us. So like, yeah, we could go and build a mobile marketplace. I know many of the Web3 marketplaces look at doing the same. Many actually got very far along the process and then canceled their plans to the last minute because of App Store guidelines, regulations, and like lack of clarity there. So I think our strategy on mobile actually is to make sure our website is mobile friendly, but ultimately to scale through partners. Mobile wallets, for example, and mobile applications that we can work closely with, maybe the likes of yourselves, the likes of Ethos Wallet, and some others. in the future. Deep links, we like, because for us, I don't think it strategically makes a huge amount of sense to apply lots of resources into that at the moment. We don't want to stretch ourselves too thin.
So, innovation, question here, and then I'll come right over there to you.
Do you think there will be, it's sort of a two-part question. I'm wondering how you do indexing when everything is an object, since there's no set standard currently for it. And then, second, if you have these dynamic NFTs that you can change the metadata from season 1 to season 2, do you think you can have a zero knowledge implementation of it, so you can create a dark forest type experience in game that's not like a traditional type game, but almost capture a flag, and like you said, there are new paradigms of game design you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't quite catch the first question. Let me answer the second question first. So, on the second question, I think that's a very interesting space, especially when we look at gaming, right? How can you keep certain components of games private? And one of the reasons we were attracted to this blockchain is because there's 8 cryptographers on the core L1 team. There are also people approaching these issues, like I've had chats with Nuno over there from Origin by, I'm sure I'll probably have chats with Paul Felica as well, about, okay, when we're looking at these NFT standards and these, this infrastructure put out there for gaming companies, how can we enable, better experiences for users? So that definitely ties in there. And the second question was it about there not being established standards on Sui yet for dynamic NFTs? Yeah, absolutely. So there aren't established standards, but there are definitely things that we can work from. So you have a very, very basic, stripped back standard of sorts for the CAPIs, which is currently operational, you can technically build on top of that. We're working closely with Origin by on dynamic NFTs as well, so things formulating and coming together pretty easily there. And then also, I know people like Paul as well are working on these types of things in the ecosystem. So I would expect by mainnet we'll have a much more clear picture on, standards that are brought in across the ecosystem. We definitely have a strong interest in working along with standards that are adopted by other players in the space as well. We don't really want to just go off on our own and create things that aren't necessarily compatible with others.
Wonderful, thank you. Question here?
I know you mentioned probably KYC the projects who's launching on Clutchy. On the other hand, how do you make sure after they launch they don't rock pool, they stick to the plan?
Yeah, well, this ties into a conversation that we were having the other day. So Wendy from MSafe and I was we were talking about, what makes a good multi-sig wallet? Brilliant conversation. Yeah, it was actually very interesting. So for us, we plan to utilize multi-sig wallets for post-mint funds, right? So when a collection launches, the funds go into a multi-sig account, then those funds are on chain, everybody can see them, they release over time, they can vest essentially over a set time period. We don't want to be too restricted for creators there, but we also don't want people to get the lump sum of cash immediately on day one and then disappear, because we've seen that happen many, many times before. So vesting, I think, is very important. Utilizing different components of technology to make sure that it's transparent and safe as well is really important for us.
Fascinating. Great questions, great answers. Anyone else? Anyone else with questions for